everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Bella Blvd. I'm using the To the Moon collection, which is one of the new ones, and I'm also combining it with Trinkets. They are puffy stickers and they come in all the Bella Besties colours. So I'm going for a playing, outdoorsy type of layout today rather than a space themed one, and I've therefore picked out 3 papers from the To the Moon collection that work with my photo and theme. So this orange print here with the arrows, the white arrows on, the blue gingham or crosshatch, and the green with white polka dots. So I have these 3 papers and I kind of wanted to create this diagonal design starting from one point of the layout going up and spreading out towards the diagonal opposite. My guillotine isn't long enough to deal with corner to corner on a 12 by 12, so I hand drew this with a ruler and worked out roughly where I wanted my lines, and it doesn't matter that my cutting is not particularly straight because I'm going to distress the edges anyway, so I'm not overly concerned. But what I was particularly concerned about was keeping the arrows going in the right direction, so I wanted to just make sure that I had positioned the paper onto the cardstock and then drew the lines in the area that I wanted them, and that way my arrows were round the right way. Whereas if I just randomly cut a big piece, then they wouldn't have been. However, if I tried to just randomly cut it, it wouldn't have fit because the paper doesn't fit in any other direction but this one for that widest point of the layout. Okay, so I've got all my 3 pieces cut, and I've now distressed the edges of all of them, and then I'm just going to position them back into place onto the layout. So the 3 of them are going to kind of overlap and form this kind of almost starburst. I always really love doing starburst layouts. I've done quite a lot of them recently, so I don't want to do another one. So I thought I would do one that was a little different, but the same kind of effect. So that's what I've done, and I've just done those 3 colours, and I'm just making sure my 3 points are stuck in place. I'm also going to machine stitch along each of those, although I don't actually do that until closer towards the end. I am folding up the sides of each piece so that I have a good amount of dimension. I then have my photo, which is a small 3 by 4, a bit smaller than that actually, landscape. Now quite often I don't use landscape photos, I quite often have portrait ones, this is slightly outside of my comfort zone, so I just wanted to make sure I was happy with the positioning. So I tried it in a few different places, but it really does need to be down here, so that it follows the line of the arrows, but because I thought about having it on the diagonal so it followed the line of the stripes, but no, the line of the arrows works much better, so I'm going to keep it. Yeah, there we go. Just trying it out in a few different places, but no, it definitely looks better on the straight, so I'm just going to stick that there. I'm now thinking about how I'm going to incorporate the trinkets. So I've pulled out the same colours that I've used from the papers. So I have the green set, which is pickle juice and guacamole. I have the orange set, I have the blueberry set, and I have the ice and golf set as well. So all of those I'm going to possibly use, but I'm still quite thinking about how to do it. I'd like to put them on the stripes themselves, but I'm not entirely sure. I was thinking of just using the arrows, and I've just put them in the same direction as the lines of the big shards, but I'm not happy with how they're looking. So I'm just going to leave them for a bit and come back to that in a bit. So I'm now just going through the ephemera because I want to layer some bits and pieces around my photos. I'm a big fan of colour on colour, so I'm trying to put some bluish pieces around the blue area, orange pieces around the orange area, and green pieces around the green area. So I have mostly blue, not many orange and green pieces that I picked out that would work from the ephemera for this one. So I'm just going to arrange the ones that I've got. I've also got some stars that I didn't fussy cut them at all. I punched them, that I punched for a previous layout, and I have just got some of those left over. They're actually punched from Bella Besties papers, but they're the same colours as the colours I'm using today, although I didn't have any green ones. I had orange and blue. So I just positioned those, a couple of them, not too many. I didn't want them to overwhelm, because this layout isn't really a star themed layout. It's outdoors, it's trees, it's being in the woods, that kind of stuff, forests. So I wasn't sure that stars went with that so much. It's the 3 children, so a girl and 2 boys, so it's not just boys as well. So yeah, I didn't really want to bring in too many stars, even though I love stars. Yeah, I didn't want to bring in too many, so just a couple punched ones at the bottom section of the photo. And I've got this piece of ephemera that says my favourite thing about every day, which is these 3 kiddos, of course. And it was really long, and it wasn't looking right on the diagonal stripes, so I cut it apart into 3 pieces and layered it in a higgledy-piggledy kind of fashion. And that looks much better. And then I've put it onto the orange part. I've also added an orange border sticker onto the orange part of the layout from the To the Moon sticker sheet. And then I've got a blue one as well, which I'm just adding there to the other side of the blue gingham piece of paper as well. I've got that spare piece at the top there, you can see, that I'm going to pop down at the bottom in just a moment. And now I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with the trinkets. So I really love the idea of using the arrows to mimic the arrow paper above, but I wasn't too sure if I would have enough, and I definitely don't have enough. I wouldn't have enough of the orange, but the green and the blue I can just about manage, because the green section is quite small. So I've just used the pickle juice and guacamole, and I've put those, and I figured out that it was best to go in the same direction as the arrows on the paper, rather than trying to follow the line of the diagonal. So I've put in the arrows. I've also added in a few stars around the arrows, because there were quite a few gaps, and that just seemed to work quite well. I've added some orange arrows on top of the white arrows on the paper. Obviously they're just sparse because I don't have enough of those to completely saturate the paper. And then the blue ones, now I had 2 sets of blue, so I had blueberry but also ice and golf, so I was able to double up on my number of arrows that I had available to me, and pop those in. So I didn't use the golf colour, only the ice. The golf was a bit too green, and so I stuck with ice and blueberry, and I've just put those in to that gingham part of the paper, along with some stars as well to fill in the gaps, because the arrows do create natural kind of gaps. So yes, that's how I use the trinkets. I actually really like how it looks, the kind of layering on top of the paper, especially as the paper is slightly patterned as well. Looks nice. I'm happy with how that's looking. And I'm just going to kind of finish things off now. I found another orange star, so I've popped that down the bottom. I want to add some splatters of green and blue, not orange, because I don't have orange going onto the white paper, so I'm going to stick with green and blue, and I've just put some water into my paint pots, that Shimmers paints, and I'm just leaving those to dissolve for a minute or 2, just adding in some journaling, and then I'm about to add my splatters. So I'm going for it with the green right now, just covering up my photo with my foam pads. Now going for the blue. Of course, the doorbell rang in between splatters, can you believe? So I had to turn off and turn on again. Yeah, this is looking good now. I'm pretty happy with how it's finished. Yeah, there we go, all done. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I really liked making it. I love the trinkets. I love the To the Moon collection. It's super cute. I must do some space ones soon, because I really love, my little boy loves rockets. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Bella Boulevard.